Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about the secrets to actually getting your content, getting your videos, getting your blogs, getting your podcast episodes seen by more people. And actually, it's no secret. It's actually just a little trick, a little thing. But before I get into that, a little bit of a backstory. So, I come from a retail background. I come from a direct sales background. My folks always had some sort of a retail store, whether it be a supermarket or some sort of electronics, or selling CDs even back in the day, cassette tapes. I remember when ABBA album was released, so giving away my age here. But basically, I come from a retail background, and so in retail, there's no real need to actually create any content, right? Your content is actually done for you by brands. So, for example, a Cadbury chocolate, Cadbury would spend a lot of money on advertising to put billboards up, to do TV ads, to do radio shows, to advertise on various companies, or they would put up ads on websites, or they would sponsor teams, that type of thing, to get their brand and message out. And obviously magazine ads as well, newspaper ads, all of these things. They would also allow retailers or wholesalers to do promotional sort of campaigns. So they would, reduce prices on certain things, or give a free box of chocolates with certain things. And they would have reps that would come out to your store to basically kit out your store, so that you gave them the space that you needed them to be in, or they would ask for a piece of real estate, space on the shelves, and they would kit that out for you, make sure you were always stocked. And so in a retail space, you don't generally have to do much. If you've got a deal on, you do a promotional sort of pamphlet, or you do a ad in your local newspaper, or even a post somewhere. Maybe today you do a post on Facebook or something, just letting people know that you've got this weekend special or something similar to a Black Friday thing. And you would have people basically just coming into your store, because your store in those days, in terms of marketing, your store needed to be in the right place, right? So position was the thing that retail stores, businesses, brick and mortar stores needed to have. These days, though, because of Corona and because of a lot of other things, it's still important, but the online marketplace is much more important, or has a higher level of importance these days, because your survival, to get your products out, to get your message out, to get your to make sales, to survive, is more important. And so this shift to content has come about because of the fact that the internet is actually just a very big encyclopedia. It's a collection of information that has been curated. The internet started with curated content, and it evolved into a space where people could create their own content and have their voice. And so lots of people put up blogs, social media platforms started, and people started to realize quickly that, well, these are places that we need to share information, that we need to give value, like I'm giving to you right now. And so that was the attractive mechanism. That is the thing that brings people in. Now, back in the day, when blog posts first started, or when the internet was just coming up and Google search became a thing, it was easier to get your content seen, because there were less publishers, and more and more people every day coming to the internet and logging on to find things. Of course, the markets were also a lot smaller, in the sense that the internet was not widely used by a lot of people. Today, pretty much everybody with a smartphone is connected. Your data plan is built into whatever you have. You have Wi-Fi everywhere, depending on where you live, obviously, but Wi-Fi is everywhere. And so consumption of knowledge, consumption of information is at its highest. It's at its peak right now. And so the way to actually get your content noticed, one is obviously writing great content, right? Creating great content, recording good videos, going live on platforms that you need to go on. But then how do you get that content to be seen by more people? Well, you have to promote that. You have to let people know. And the best way to do that which I'll share with you in a little bit, is something that you own on your, something that you control, something that you manage, sometimes something that you're in control. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because even though I'm on Facebook right now talking to you, and I'm using Facebook Live to get my message out to you, I'm subject to Facebook's algorithm. I'm subject to Facebook's mood on the day or in the next few days to get my message out, to get my post out to more people. And so that's a recipe for disaster, because if you've been around for a little while, you know that algorithms change. Instagram will change things, and for whatever reason your posts don't show up anymore, or your engagement drops. And so you're not in control of the performance of your content anymore on those platforms anyway. If you probably publish a blog on Medium, you might get traction the first few days, but eventually it dies. And it's the same with any third-party tool that you use, except maybe for YouTube, where if your content is created in a way that's searchable, that you're using relevant keywords that people are looking for, and they come to YouTube to find you, or to find that content, to consume that content, then you might show up in search, or you might show up in suggested, depending on what they've watched previously. So the way that you can control the whole thing revolves around your email list, around the contacts that you have. And it could even be a bunch of phone numbers that you have, because if you publish a piece of content and or you're part of little groups, like maybe Facebook groups, or you have maybe a WhatsApp group, or maybe a Slack group that you manage, or that you're an admin on, or maybe you have a subscriber base where you have Patreon supporters that are sending you or subscribing to content, to exclusive content. You message them, you send SMSs to people, you send messenger messages to people to say, hey, I created this piece of content, maybe this will be useful, and this will be something that I will be doing on this video or from this video in the next couple of days. The other thing you can do is pay to push this message out to more people, and that helps you, because with Facebook you can target, depending on what your message is, you can target certain people that you would know, that you should know is looking for that information, or that you can interrupt them and they might find it valuable. So promotion is probably the most important part. So it's, I would say if 50% of your effort goes into creating the content, first choosing the right topic that's searchable, choosing the right topic that is needed by your audience, and then the other 50% is actually promoting the content, pushing that content to more and more and more people as much as you can. And as you create the content, just because you promote it maybe this on the day or the day after or in the week that you've created the content, doesn't mean that the content is not relevant in the future. Obviously, it depends on what you're creating. If you, for example, are talking about Facebook ads, or you're talking about maybe, let's say, what's hot today at the moment is the presidential elections, right? It's 2020. That content may not necessarily be relevant in the next 6 months, but if you create content that's evergreen, that is not necessarily newsworthy, but that is going to stick around for a long, long time, that's going to be relevant, because there's certain aspects to living human life that would always be relevant. And if you create that type of content, then you can push that content out to people later on. Maybe you add that to a broadcast email, or you add the specific blog post, or you add that to a newsletter that you're sending out to your email list even 6 months from now. Or you schedule a post or a tweet talking about that blog post the next time that topic comes up that's hot. If people are talking about ketogenic exercise or ketogenic diets, then the keto diets are going to be relevant in the future at some point, or somebody will be talking about it, or maybe there will be a book that comes out that brings the topic up again. Then you can push that out. You just have to watch the trends, or if you've created a piece of content and you have your list in front of you, if you have your you remember the topics that you've talked about, and somebody asks you, hey, what's relevant for me for this? How do I solve this specific problem? Or what do you think about this thing? And if you created that piece, even if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, or whenever you created it, you can refer them to it, right? And the thing about content as well is if you link your content together, where you're making a series or you're creating topics that are related to each other, then don't give away all the information in one video or in one blog post. Build it up so that you can string the content together. So while I'm talking about publishing and promoting content on this video, maybe the next post that I do will be about how to actually run your Facebook ads to get that content to work for you in your business, because each piece of content should not be isolated on their own. While they're individual pieces, they can connect to each other. So that's my pitch for today. That's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit the like, obviously. And if you want to follow for more content, follow the page. I really appreciate you hopping on if you did. And if you're watching the replay, hit the comments below and let me know how you're promoting your content. What are you doing to syndicate your content out to more and more people? Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.